South Louisiana has a rich culture from the Native Americans to the Cajuns to the African Americans and more. But as subsidence, erosion, and hurricanes eat away at the land, the traditions of their cultures could soon be washed away.
Every 90 minutes, it's a football field, is what the statistics says. For instance, though, last year would have been a record year.
It's devastating. Those losses, you're not just losing land, you are literally losing the people and their stories and their cultural ties. And that, how do you fix that? I don't know.
You know, what we're in threat of losing based on land loss or saltwater intrusion or, just as hurricanes move further up, people get relocated, their connection to place. So telling those stories, being a place where people can tell those stories is really important to us, and helping share that knowledge so that we can maybe try to do things to improve it.
Two folklore characters that are a big part of Cajun culture in Terrebonne Parish and Lafourche Parish are the Rougarou and Jean Lafitte and the Fille Follet.
Our stories help us share what we are and who we are with other people. And it is actually through stories that people connect to other people.
Jean Lafitte was a pirate during the War of 1812. He helped Andrew Jackson win the Battle of New Orleans by supplying troops and land routes. He had a lot of treasure from his pirating days, so there's a myth that he buried his treasure in the swamp with a crewmate, and if someone tries to take his treasure, the soul of the crewmate, or the Fille Follet, will protect it.
So there are a lot of myths that surround Jean Lafitte. The Fille Follet certainly are the bad omens that would be in the swamp, and this would make sense because the swamp, while it is beautiful and full of resources and amazing places, long ago, those places were to be feared because there were a lot of dangers. And of course, one of the dangers would be to get mired in the swamp, you couldn't escape type thing. And the Fille Follets were literally, as a riverine system, right, we would have natural gas that occurs within our swamp. And as those swamp gases come up and they pop, you could sometimes see colors at night. And so there is a reality that's part of the myth. Today, while we do carry his name, we really talk more about the myriad of cultures that built South Louisiana as we know it today. And is that mixture, that gumbo, that Louisiana gumbo of cultures that really has made us who we are and has given us in many ways the resilience to survive the natural disasters that we face.
The Rougarou is said to be a half-human, half-werewolf creature living in South Louisiana, scaring and threatening people that invade his land or misbehave.
So when I was growing up, the story of the Rougarou was used to keep kids in line and make them behave, because our parents would tell us if you don't behave, then the Rougarou was going to get you, or the Rougarou was going to pull your toes whenever you were sleeping at night. And so traditionally, that's how the story was used, as a part of our folklore. I would say he lives somewhere along the Bayou Sally Road. So that's in Terrebonne Parish, that connects two Bayou communities in the southernmost part of the parish. And it's sort of a road that goes through marshy areas and then also swampy areas. So I get the feeling that if I were a Rougarou, that's where I would want to live. We spoke of the story of the Rougarou being a tale to make kids behave and to scare kids, and I think that story has changed a bit, in part because of the Rougarou Fest, and the Rougarou is now seen as a protector of the swamp, a protector of the wetlands. If he doesn't have a place to live, then neither do we. So we've sort of made it revolve a little bit more around he's a hero rather than a villain, I guess.
The Rougarou Fest benefits the Wetlands Discovery Center, which in turn helps to educate the students about culture and land loss.
There's risks pretty much anywhere where you live these days, whether it's forest fires or tornadoes or things like that. The thing that we are most at risk of, obviously is hurricanes and flooding. And so, we don't teach kids that they should stay or that they should leave. We give them the information that they need to be able to make informed decisions for themselves as they become adults in this parish. And they can decide what level of risk is comfortable for them to be able to stay here, or if they would rather move inland a little bit. We also discuss things about culture and how to maintain your culture, even if you do have to migrate north a little bit. And that's one of the things that we do at Rougarou Fest, is we celebrate all of those cultural aspects of what makes it so special to live here in southern Louisiana.
And with sea level rise, global climate change and what have you, we really do face this almost overwhelming threat to us. And this is a threat not only ecologically, right, but also the people that live there.
We have a very strong sense of place here in southern Louisiana. And that means that, our cultural identity is really tied into this area that provides us with shrimp and oysters and crawfish and be God knows if you know what those are. But all of those different things that we enjoy eating, and our families are usually very close by. Most people in this area, have a lot of family members and a lot of, friends from elementary school even.
These characters and other traditions of the people of South Louisiana are at risk of being lost with the land.
We need a place to live to be able to do the things that we do, and the land and water around us is very much tied into our culture.
And remember, we are a people of stories. If we don't have our stories, we start losing our identity.